The morning in Washington, D.C. began like any other. The sun shone over the Potomac River, and birds moved across the sky. People hurried to work, unaware of what was coming. In a small building near the center of the city, Laura Benton sat at her desk in the Deep Space Listening Center. She had spent years tracking signals from the stars, listening for anything unusual. Today she noticed something strange. The screen in front of her flickered. A signal appeared unlike anything she had ever seen. It was not a normal transmission. It was loud, clear, and almost angry. Laura leaned forward, adjusting the dials. She tried to trace the signal, but it was coming from deep space. She ran the translation software. The message was in a strange pattern, but her system could convert it into English. The words appeared on the screen, slow at first, then faster. Laura's heart began to race as she read. The message was from the Galactic Council. It was a group of alien civilizations that watched the galaxy. They spoke to many worlds, but rarely to humans. The message started politely, but then it became sharp. The aliens accused humans of being dangerous, violent, and unworthy of joining the galaxy's larger community. Laura could not believe what she was seeing. She ran to her supervisor. "Do you see this, Carl?" she asked, pointing at the screen. Carl Mason, a tall man with gray hair, looked at her with wide eyes. I think I do," he said. "Is this real?" Laura nodded. "It is. They are speaking to the whole galaxy, and they are talking about Earth. They say they want to remove us." Carl took a deep breath. "Remove us? From the galaxy?" "Yes," Laura said, her voice shaking. "They call it quarantine. They say humans are dangerous and cannot be trusted." They watched the screen together as the message continued. The aliens showed images of human colonies that had been built on Mars and Titan. These colonies were destroyed. The images were clear. Cities burned, ships exploded, and people ran in panic. Laura's hands shook. "They have already started," she whispered. Carl turned to his computer. "We need to alert the president. This is not just a threat. This is real." Meanwhile, the signal was reaching other parts of Earth. Millions of people were seeing it on screens. On news channels, reporters tried to explain what was happening, but the images were terrifying. Social media filled with panic. People called friends and family. Governments scrambled. Military bases went on high alert. In the middle of all this, the President of the United States sat in the Situation Room, staring at the broadcast. "This is serious," the President said. "We have never faced anything like this. We must prepare every defense system we have." Laura returned to her station. She tried to decode more of the message. The aliens were mocking humans, speaking as if they were far superior. "Primitive species," one of the alien representatives said. "Your time is over. You will not join the galaxy. You are a threat, and all others will learn from your mistakes." Laura shivered. The words were sharp and cruel, but she noticed something else. Hidden in the signal was data the aliens did not mean to send. It contained coordinates of the Council's main fleet far from Earth. She quickly saved the information. "This could be our chance," she said to Carl. "We can track them. We can fight back." At the same time, Captain Ethan Cole looked up at the sky from the bridge of the Liberty Dawn, an orbital defense ship. The sky above the Earth was quiet, but he knew it would not stay quiet for long. He had seen the signal too. The aliens were watching, and the humans were now the target. Ethan's mind raced. He remembered his brother who had died when the Mars colony was attacked years ago. The same attack the Council showed in the broadcast. Ethan felt anger and fear. He could not let the same thing happen to Earth. On the ground, people tried to understand what was happening. Streets filled with worried citizens. Cars stopped in the middle of traffic. Families held each other close. Governments issued statements, but nothing could calm the fear. The aliens were not just sending threats, they were proving they had power over humans. In the weeks before this day, humans had thought of themselves as strong. They built rockets, sent satellites, and reached for the stars. But now they realized how small they were. The Council had destroyed human colonies in a blink. They could destroy Earth too if they wanted. Laura worked day and night with her team. They analyzed the signal, looking for weaknesses, looking for hope. She found small clues, tiny patterns hidden in the aliens' message. The data contained maps of alien fleets and relay stations. This was not meant to be sent to humans. It was an accident, but it gave humans a chance. Carl looked over her shoulder. "You mean, we can fight them?" "Yes," Laura said. "If we move fast, if we are smart, if we use their mistakes against them." Across the ocean in New York City, people gathered around screens in Times Square. The broadcast was showing destruction of human colonies on other worlds. Some people screamed. Some cried. Others stood frozen. For the first time, all humans saw the same thing at the same time. Fear and anger mixed together. For the first time, humans felt what it meant to be a single species, facing a threat from the stars. Ethan called his officers to the main room of the Liberty Dawn. "Listen up," he said. "They want us to be afraid. They want to see us give up. But we cannot. We will use what we know. We will fight back. Humanity has survived worse than this. We will survive this too." The officers nodded, some with fear, some with determination. Ethan looked out the window at Earth below. Cities glittered like jewels, but the people did not know what was coming. He whispered to himself, "We will protect them. We will not fail." Meanwhile, in the Deep Space Listening Center, Laura's fingers flew across the keyboard. She traced alien signals, marking their positions and paths. Every signal she analyzed brought new information. She discovered the Council's main fleet orbiting a planet called Virion 9. The fleet was massive, more ships than humans could imagine. But the signal also revealed weaknesses. Some ships had gaps in defense, some communication relays were exposed. Laura knew that this was a small chance, but it was a chance. She sent the information to the president, to the military, and to Ethan's fleet. The message traveled faster than anything else. Humans were finally preparing to act, not just react. In cities, towns, and villages, people began to organize. Factories started making weapons. Old ships were repaired. Engineers worked day and night to build new technologies. Scientists and students joined together, creating new strategies. The world was no longer quiet. It was alive with determination and anger. Humans were ready to defend themselves. Ethan's fleet left orbit quietly, avoiding detection. They moved in small groups using old technology and new ideas. The Council might have powerful weapons, but humans had creativity, courage, and unpredictability. Ethan thought about what the alien prisoner had once said. Humans adapt faster than they can imagine. Laura stayed at her station, watching, analyzing, and guiding. She became the voice of hope for those in space. Every decision mattered. Every small victory mattered. She knew that if they failed, Earth could be destroyed. But if they succeeded, humanity would show the galaxy its true strength. At night, Laura looked at the stars. They had always fascinated her. Now they were full of danger and possibility. She thought of the people on Earth, the cities, the families, and the children. She thought of Ethan and his fleet, moving through space to fight for survival. She whispered to herself, "We are humans. We do not give up. We do not surrender. We fight." And somewhere in the deep darkness of space, the Council watched Earth's preparations. They expected fear, panic, and submission. But what they did not know was that humans had already begun to plan, to learn, and to strike back. The anger of Earth was quiet now, but it would not stay quiet for long. The day ended, but humanity was not asleep. From Washington to New York, from Houston to Los Angeles, people stayed alert. Communication teams worked, engineers repaired, and soldiers prepared. Laura continued to decode the signal. She discovered more clues hidden in the alien message. Every discovery was a piece of the puzzle. By morning, humans had made their first steps toward retaliation. The world had united not by choice, but by necessity. Fear had become focus, panic had become determination, and anger had become strength. Ethan stood on the bridge of the Liberty Dawn, looking at the stars again. "We are small," he said, "but we are not weak. They may think they control the galaxy, but they have not met humans yet." On Earth, Laura smiled faintly. She knew the coming days would be hard, dangerous, and full of uncertainty. But she also knew that humans had something no alien fleet could take away: courage, creativity, and the refusal to be defeated. The galaxy had sent a warning, a brutal broadcast, and millions had watched humans tremble. But deep inside, humans were already preparing their answer. The fury of Earth had not yet begun, but when it did, no one would forget it. The days after the Council's broadcast were tense on Earth. People moved with caution. Streets were quiet at night, but behind closed doors, humanity worked. Soldiers trained, engineers repaired old ships, and scientists created new technologies. The fear that had spread across the world had turned into action. Humans were preparing to fight back. Captain Ethan Cole sat on the bridge of the Liberty Dawn watching the stars. The ship had left Earth orbit quietly, avoiding detection. Ethan had assembled a small fleet of human ships, some repaired from old designs, others newly built from underground shipyards. All were equipped with experimental technology. They could not match the Council's massive armada ship for ship, but they had something the aliens did not expect: cunning and creativity. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mason, Ethan's second in command, "our scanners show patrols near the outer asteroid belt. The Council may be looking for us." Ethan nodded. "Keep the ships in formation, but use the asteroid fields for cover. They think we are slow and predictable. Let's make them think that again." Mason worked quickly, adjusting coordinates. "The mirror drives are ready. We can hide the fleet from their scanners for a short time." Ethan's jaw tightened. The mirror drives were humanity's secret advantage. They distorted the ship's image, making it almost invisible to the alien scanners. It was a risky technology, never tested in battle before, but humanity had no choice. If they were discovered, the Council could destroy them instantly. On Earth, Laura Benton continued to track the Council's fleet. She had discovered their main positions near Virion 9, a planet with a massive fleet orbiting it. The coordinates were sent to Ethan's fleet. The data also showed gaps in the fleet's defenses. Some ships were stationed far apart, leaving space between them. Some communication relays were exposed. "This is our chance," Laura said quietly to her team. "If we strike carefully, we can hit them where it hurts." Her team nodded. They worked day and night, sending updates to Ethan's fleet through quantum channels. The humans had learned that the Council did not understand human strategy. They underestimated humans because they expected fear and hesitation, but humans were fast learners. They could adapt. Ethan's fleet moved slowly toward the outskirts of the Council's territory. Each ship was hidden behind asteroids and small moons. The silence of space was broken only by quiet communications. "All ships maintain formation. Mirror drives engaged. No mistakes," Ethan ordered. As they approached the Council's fleet, Ethan's officers felt tension. Thousands of alien ships hovered near Virion 9. Their weapons glowed in the darkness. The aliens were confident, believing humans would never challenge them. But Ethan knew that humans had an advantage the Council could not see: unpredictability. Meanwhile, on Earth, people watched the Council's broadcasts again. The aliens had shown images of destroyed human colonies. Millions feared the same would happen to their cities. But when Ethan's fleet sent the first small reports of movement near Virion 9, hope spread. People realized that humans were not waiting to be destroyed. They were fighting back. Laura guided the fleet remotely. "Ethan," she said, "the coordinates show a weak point in the northern wing of their fleet. It is lightly defended. You can strike there first." Ethan studied the map. "We will hit them where they least expect it. Let's move carefully." The human ships advanced. Using asteroid fields and mirror drives, they approached the northern wing. The Council's patrols scanned the area but found nothing. Human ships appeared out of nowhere, striking quickly and then disappearing before the aliens could respond. The first contact was small but effective. The humans destroyed a few alien ships, and the Council's officers did not understand what had happened. Their scanners could not detect the mirror drives. Confusion spread. Back on Earth, Laura watched the live updates. She felt a mix of fear and pride. Humans were showing courage. They were fighting with intelligence, not just brute force. The Council's broadcast had tried to scare humans, but now it was failing. Ethan's fleet continued to move deeper. They planted small devices called nano-weapon beacons on the alien ships. These devices would disable communication and navigation. The humans worked in silence, moving quickly before the Council could react. In one captured alien vessel, they found prisoners from previous human colonies. One of them was a young scientist named Nora Lane. She had survived attacks on Mars. Her eyes widened when she saw the humans. You are humans?" she whispered. "Yes," Ethan said, "and we are here to save you." Nora explained what she had learned while in captivity. The Council feared humans, not because humans were violent, but because humans could adapt faster than any other species. "They think they control everything," she said. "But humans change, learn, and survive. That terrifies them." Ethan listened carefully. He knew that understanding the enemy was important. "Then we will show them what humans can do," he said. As the fleet continued its mission, the Council began to notice disturbances. Small attacks, unexplained disappearances of patrol ships, and sudden malfunctions spread through their fleet. Panic began to ripple among the alien officers. They did not know the humans' plan. They only saw strange, unpredictable events that they could not control. On Earth, Laura and her team celebrated quietly whenever they received updates. Each small victory was important. Every ship disabled, every prisoner rescued, showed that humans could fight back. The Council had expected fear. Instead, they faced resistance. The humans also learned from the alien technology. They studied the weapons and shields, discovering ways to use debris fields and asteroid collisions as weapons. Human creativity turned ordinary space into a battlefield full of traps for the Council. Meanwhile, people on Earth began to feel hope. They no longer watched in fear alone. They followed the fleet's progress. Children learned the names of the human ships. Families discussed strategies. Humans had become a single species united for survival. Ethan's fleet prepared for the final stage of this first strike. The northern wing of the Council's fleet had been weakened. The humans planned a coordinated attack. Using nanoweapon beacons and carefully timed maneuvers, they could disable communication and disable defenses. "Prepare for final strike," Ethan said. "We will hit together. Be precise, be fast. And remember, we are humans. We do not give up." The attack began. Human ships moved in formation. Beacons were deployed. Alien ships began to fail one by one. Panic spread among the Council. They tried to call for reinforcements, but their communications were jammed. The humans had outsmarted them. In the chaos, Ethan's team rescued more prisoners, bringing them aboard human ships. Nora Lane worked with Laura through the communication link to guide the fleet. They discovered that small, unexpected maneuvers caused the Council ships to collide with each other. Human strategy used the environment, not just weapons. On Earth, people cheered quietly as updates came in. For the first time, humans had struck a blow against the Council. They had proven that fear alone would not control them. Ethan looked out from the bridge. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The Council may be powerful, but they cannot predict humans. They cannot control us, and they will learn that soon enough." The fleet returned to safe positions behind asteroid fields, waiting for the Council's reaction. Engineers repaired damaged ships. Scientists worked on new strategies. Humans had shown courage, intelligence, and determination. They had survived the first contact and struck back. Laura sat back in her chair, exhausted but proud. "They think humans are weak," she said softly. "They will learn. They will learn soon." As night fell on Earth, people looked up at the stars with hope. The Council's broadcasts had tried to spread fear, but humans had found strength. Humanity was no longer passive. They were fighters, and the galaxy would soon see the full fury of Earth. In space, Ethan's fleet moved silently among asteroids. They were small, hidden, but ready. The Council did not yet understand them, and that was humanity's advantage. The humans would continue to strike, to rescue, and to fight back. They were clever, fast, and brave. The Council's broadcast had intended to show power and fear. Instead, it had awakened something else. It had awakened the fury of humans, and this was only the beginning. Ethan Cole's fleet moved cautiously through space. They were closer to Virion 9 now, the planet where the Galactic Council's main fleet waited. Thousands of alien ships orbited the planet, their weapons glowing like fire in the darkness. Ethan studied the formations on his screen. The Council believed their numbers and firepower were enough to stop any human attack. They were wrong. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mason, pointing at the scanner, "the northern wing is still weak. We can use the asteroid field near Sector 12 to hide our approach. They won't expect us there." Ethan nodded. "Good. Prepare the mirror drives. We move at dawn." The ships drifted silently through space. Human technology was limited, compared to the Council's, but it had advantages the aliens did not understand. The mirror drives made the ships nearly invisible. Small weapons could be hidden, and the humans could strike with speed and surprise. On Earth, Laura Benton and her team tracked the fleet's movement. She could see the Council's ships through satellite feeds and the data Ethan sent back. Every movement was tense. She worked closely with Ethan, guiding him toward the weak points. "The relay stations are exposed," she told him. "If you disable them first, communication across their fleet will fail." Ethan's ships approached the asteroid field. The Council had patrol ships near the edge, scanning the area. The humans slowed and drifted behind the rocks, almost invisible. Ethan's heart beat faster. One wrong move, and the fleet would be destroyed. "Stay calm," he said to the officers around him. Focus. We can do this. The first attack began with a small strike team. Ships moved from the shadows, hitting exposed relay stations. Explosions lit up the darkness. The Council's patrols tried to respond, but their sensors could not find the humans. Confusion spread quickly. "Captain, the beacons are ready," Mason said. "We can plant them now." Ethan gave the order. Small pods separated from the main fleet. They moved quickly, landing on the alien ships and releasing nano-weapon beacons. The beacons disabled shields, engines, and communications. Within minutes, several Council ships were helpless, floating in space. "This is working," Ethan said quietly. "Keep going." Meanwhile, Nora Lane, the scientist rescued from the Council, guided Ethan's team. She had been a prisoner for years and had studied the Council's technology closely. "If you target the neural command hubs," she explained, "the fleet will lose control. They cannot adapt fast enough to stop us." Ethan nodded. "Then we take the hubs next." The fleet moved carefully through the gaps in the Council's formation. Each move was calculated. Human ships avoided heavy fire, using asteroids and debris for cover. They struck quickly and disappeared before the aliens could respond. Every success gave the humans hope. Every small victory spread courage across the fleet. On Earth, Laura and her team watched live feeds from the fleet. They could see explosions in space, the Council's ships losing control, and human ships moving like shadows. "They are doing it," Laura whispered. "Humans are winning." The first major confrontation happened near the center of the Council's fleet. Ethan's ships had reached the outer perimeter of the command stations. Hundreds of alien ships surrounded them. The humans could not fight all at once, they had to be smart. "Divide the fleet into 3 groups," Ethan ordered. "Group 1, take the relay stations. Group 2, plant beacons on the command ships. Group 3, provide support and cover. Timing is everything." The groups moved. Explosions flashed as beacons disabled ship after ship. The Council's officers tried to organize a defense, but the humans were unpredictable. They struck from different directions, then vanished. The Council's fleet had never faced this before. Ethan watched the main command hub. It was a massive ship, larger than any human vessel. Its weapons were powerful, but the humans had a plan. Small strike teams moved in silently, placing nano-weapons and explosives. For a moment it seemed impossible. The hub's sensors detected them and weapons fired. "Shields holding," Mason reported. "Pods reaching the surface." Ethan's heart raced. The pods landed, and explosives were set. The hub's systems began to fail. Communications dropped. Alien officers shouted orders, but the humans' interference made them useless. One by one, the Council's ships stopped responding. The main hub's weapons went dark. "This is it," Ethan said. "We've done it." But the battle was not over. The Council still had thousands of ships. Some began to regroup, firing at the humans from a distance. Ethan's fleet dodged and weaved through space debris. They used clever tactics, turning obstacles into weapons. Debris fields crushed alien ships. Collisions spread panic. Humans had turned the battlefield into something the aliens could not predict. Meanwhile, Nora Lane worked with Laura through the quantum link. They analyzed the Council's neural networks, predicting movements and weaknesses. "They are not used to this," Nora said. "They cannot think like humans, that is why we win." Ethan smiled faintly. "Good. Keep guiding us. Every move counts." During the battle, Ethan noticed one alien vessel moving toward a group of human ships. It was fast and heavily armed. The ship fired at close range, but Ethan had expected it. Using a maneuver he had practiced for months, the human ships split into smaller units. One ship drew the aliens' fire while others circled behind, striking weak points. The alien vessel exploded. The humans cheered silently. They had won another small victory, but it was a reminder of the danger. Each moment in space could be their last. On Earth, people watched updates from Laura's team. News channels described the human strike against the Council's fleet. Cities cheered quietly. For the first time, humans saw that they could fight back. Fear was turning into hope. Courage was spreading across the planet. Ethan's fleet continued toward the main hub. Explosions lit up the darkness of space. The Council's ships lost control one by one. Humans were careful but bold. They attacked quickly, used debris and mirror drives, then vanished. They struck in ways no alien mind could predict. As the battle reached its peak, Ethan ordered the final phase. Prepare the core strike. We hit the main hub directly. Timing must be perfect. All ships, follow the plan. The humans moved in coordinated waves. They planted explosives on the hub, disabling weapons and engines. The Council's ships tried to respond, but communication had been cut. Panic spread among their officers. Their perfectly organized fleet had become chaos. Laura and Nora monitored the operation. They are succeeding, Laura said. The hub is losing power. The main hub shook violently as explosives detonated. Fire and energy flared across its surface. The Council officers screamed, but no one could hear them. The humans had struck decisively. The hub went dark. Its weapons were gone. Its fleet had lost control. Ethan breathed deeply. We did it, he said quietly. This is our victory. For now. But he knew the battle was not over. The Council still had forces in space. Some ships were moving toward Earth. Others were regrouping. Humanity had won the first major strike, but they had to prepare for retaliation. On Earth, people celebrated quietly. The news spread quickly. Humans had struck the Council's fleet. They had shown courage, intelligence, and determination. Fear had turned into hope. Anger had become strength. Humanity was no longer passive. Ethan's fleet regrouped behind asteroid fields. Damaged ships were repaired. Engineers worked tirelessly to fix systems. Scientists studied the Council's technology, learning new ways to fight. Humans had proven they could survive against overwhelming odds. Nora Lane worked closely with Ethan. She explained more about the Council's weaknesses. They do not understand unpredictability, she said. Every move we make that is clever, fast, and unexpected gives us the advantage. Use it wisely. Ethan nodded. We will. This is only the beginning. They think humans are small and weak. We will show them how wrong they are. In the darkness of space, the Council's fleet was in chaos. Ships drifted without control. Officers shouted orders, but no one followed. Humans had turned the battlefield into a trap. They had used intelligence, creativity, and courage. Laura Benton watched from Earth, exhausted but proud. They underestimated us, she said. Humans are stronger than they thought. The first strike against the Council was a success. Humans had shown they could fight, adapt, and survive. The galaxy had witnessed it. The Council would not forget it. Ethan looked out at the stars, thinking of Earth below. He knew the Council would come back with more force, but he also knew that humans had something the Council could not match: courage, creativity, and the will to survive. As the fleet prepared for the next phase of their mission, Ethan whispered to himself, "We are humans. We do not surrender. We do not give up, and we will fight until the galaxy remembers our name." The battle at Virion 9 had begun. Humanity had shown the first spark of fury. The Council had expected fear, but they found something else. Humans who refused to be defeated, and the galaxy was watching. The victory at Virion 9 had given humanity hope, but it had also provoked the Galactic Council's anger. The aliens did not forget defeat, and now they were preparing their retaliation. From deep space, massive energy storms began to form around Earth's orbit. Satellites went dark one by one. Communication networks failed. Power grids in major cities flickered and went offline. Laura Benton and her team were monitoring everything. "They're coming," she said quietly. "The Council is preparing a strike. We have to warn everyone." The news spread quickly. Governments scrambled. Military forces moved to full alert. Air defenses fired tests into the sky, but the humans knew these measures were only temporary. The Council's ships were too powerful. They could strike from far away, hitting targets on Earth without warning. Ethan Cole's fleet was returning from Virion 9. They had succeeded in their first strike, but now they faced a greater danger. The Council had seen human courage and intelligence, and they were determined to destroy it. "Captain," Mason said nervously, "scanners show multiple fleets moving toward Earth. They are larger than anything we've seen before." Ethan clenched his fists. "We warned them. They thought we were weak. Now we see their fury. Prepare the fleet for defense. We will buy Earth time. As the human ships moved toward safer positions, they saw the first waves of the Council's retaliation. Massive ships appeared like shadows across the stars. Energy weapons glowed, firing at satellites and human communication stations. Explosions lit the darkness and silence followed as satellites failed. On Earth, panic began to spread again. Cities experienced blackouts. People tried to contact family and friends, but phone lines and internet connections were down. Governments urged calm, but fear was growing. In Washington, the president held an emergency session with top advisors. "We cannot let them hit Earth directly," the president said. "We need all possible defenses, but we also need the fleet to buy time. If the Liberty Dawn and its team can delay them, we can prepare a counterattack." Laura worked frantically. She guided Ethan's fleet remotely, using quantum links to send instructions. "They are approaching Earth's orbit," she said. "Their fleet is massive. Use the asteroid belts for cover and stay hidden until they get close." Ethan's fleet moved silently, weaving through debris and asteroids. The Council's ships fired from a distance, but the humans avoided most attacks. Mirror drives made their ships almost invisible. Still, the Council's numbers were overwhelming. Each human ship faced multiple alien vessels at once. "Brace for impact," Mason warned. "They are targeting our lead ships," Ethan gave the order. "Evade and counter. Do not engage head-on. Use speed, cover, and misdirection. Remember, they do not understand us. That is our advantage." The Council's fleet spread across Earth's orbit. Energy beams struck the atmosphere, creating storms and fires on the surface. Human cities experienced rolling blackouts. Satellites that controlled communications and navigation went offline. The Council wanted Earth to feel fear, to submit, but humanity would not bow. Ethan's fleet struck back with precision. They fired small missiles and kinetic projectiles at key alien ships, using debris as shields. They targeted communication relays, disabling groups of ships at once. The Council officers were confused. They had not expected humans to fight with such cleverness. Meanwhile, Laura discovered something alarming. The Council had a hidden planet-sized station called Alaris Prime. It served as a neural hub controlling all other ships. If humans could destroy it, the Council fleet would lose coordination. But getting there meant facing the full power of the Council. "Captain," Laura said urgently, "Alaris Prime is the key. If we reach it, we can disable the entire fleet. But it is heavily defended." "You'll need every advantage," Ethan nodded. "We have no choice. We prepare for a strike. Every ship counts. Every move matters." On Earth, people tried to survive the storm. Cities experienced power failures and emergency services struggled to keep up. But amid fear, courage emerged. Soldiers and volunteers worked together to protect civilians. Engineers repaired power grids as quickly as possible. Humanity was fighting on all fronts, both in space and on the ground. Ethan's fleet moved toward the outer edge of the Council's orbit, preparing for a long journey to Alaris Prime. They used asteroid fields and debris to stay hidden, avoiding the main attacks. Small strikes continued, distracting the aliens while the humans planned their path. In the darkness, human ingenuity shone. Engineers aboard the Liberty Dawn modified weapons and shields. They turned debris into traps for the Council ships. They used timing and strategy to overcome numerical disadvantages. Each success strengthened morale. Nora Lane helped Ethan understand the Council's weaknesses. "Their neural systems are not flexible," she said. "If you disrupt the main hub, their fleet cannot adapt fast enough. Strike carefully and swiftly." Ethan studied the maps and coordinates. "We hit the hub, but we also protect Earth. We cannot let them reach the surface." The Council was relentless. Their ships moved closer to Earth, firing massive energy beams. Atmosphere storms worsened. On the ground, lightning and firestorms made survival difficult. People huddled in shelters while the president coordinated defenses. Laura sent precise instructions to the fleet. "Use the asteroid cover. Focus on relay stations first. Then we target command ships. Timing is everything." The fleet moved with silent determination. Human ships struck relay stations, disabling alien communications. Explosions and debris scattered across space. The Council officers shouted orders, but the humans' tactics made their commands useless. Confusion spread through the alien fleet. Meanwhile, on Earth, people looked up at the sky. They saw flashes and firestorms in orbit. Fear remained, but hope grew. Humanity was fighting back. They had not been destroyed. They had resisted the Council's first retaliation. Ethan's fleet continued forward, using every trick they had learned. Small ships acted as decoys, drawing fire away from the main fleet. Explosives placed on alien ships caused collisions. Debris became weapons. Humans had turned space into a battlefield that the Council could not predict. Laura guided the fleet with careful precision. The hub is closer now. We need a coordinated strike. Every ship must act at once. Delay could mean failure. Ethan issued the orders. Prepare for final strike on the hub. Be precise. Move quickly. Remember who we are? We are humans. We fight until the end. The fleet advanced. The Council fired desperately, but their communications were disrupted. Ships lost coordination. Explosions lit up space. The humans moved with speed and cleverness, striking key points before vanishing. During the fight, Ethan reflected on humanity. They had faced fear, destruction, and death before. They had survived. They had learned. They had adapted. The Council may have thought humans were primitive, but they had underestimated the most dangerous quality of all: human will. Small teams moved toward Alaris Prime. The planet-sized hub was massive and heavily defended. But human ships were fast, clever, and unpredictable. Explosives and nanoweapons were deployed on key sections. The hub systems began to fail. Alien officers screamed orders, but their ships ignored them. Chaos spread. On Earth, Laura watched with bated breath. They are succeeding, she said softly. The hub is failing. The fleet is losing coordination. The first strike on the hub caused a chain reaction. Alien ships lost control. Energy beams misfired. Collisions spread panic. Humanity's ingenuity had turned the Council's strength against them. Ethan looked at the stars, exhausted but determined. This is only the beginning, he said. We have shown them that humans fight, but the battle is far from over. The Council's fleet still existed. Retaliation was coming. But humanity had proven something important. Fear would not control them. They had courage, intelligence, and the ability to act when needed. On Earth, people began to rebuild after the initial attacks. Cities repaired communication lines and power grids. Emergency teams moved quickly. Humanity had survived again. The Council may strike harder, but humans were ready. Ethan and his fleet prepared for the next stage. The hub on Alaris Prime was damaged but not destroyed. They knew the final strike would be dangerous. The Council would not make mistakes again. Every move would be met with countermeasures. Laura and Nora worked tirelessly to provide strategies and data. We can do this, Nora said. We have studied them. We know their weaknesses. We are humans. We survive. Ethan looked at the stars. He thought of Earth, of the people below, and of the fleet around him. He whispered to himself, "They will remember us. They will know humans do not surrender. We fight until the galaxy listens." The Council had expected fear and submission. Instead, they found determination, intelligence, and courage. Humanity had faced the first waves of retaliation and survived. The stage was set for the final confrontation, and deep in space, Alaris Prime waited. The hub of the Council's power, massive and deadly, but now vulnerable. Humanity's fury had reached it. The final battle would decide the fate of Earth and the galaxy's view of humans forever. The final battle had begun. Ethan Cole's fleet hovered in the shadows of an asteroid field near Alaris Prime. The massive Council hub loomed ahead, larger than any human mind could imagine. Its surface was armored, glowing with energy weapons and defense shields. Thousands of alien ships swarmed around it. Humanity's small fleet looked tiny in comparison. But Ethan knew size and power were not everything. Humans had courage, intelligence, and the will to survive. "Captain," Mason said, scanning the enemy fleet, "they have deployed nearly all their remaining ships. If they detect us, we could be destroyed instantly." Ethan's jaw tightened. "We cannot wait. The hub is the key. If we destroy it, the fleet will collapse. Prepare for full strike. Timing must be perfect." Laura Benton and Nora Lane worked from Earth and aboard the Liberty Dawn. They coordinated with Ethan, sending precise instructions and calculations. "We have found weak points in the hub's defense," Laura said. "Its energy shields fluctuate every 42 seconds. You have to strike during that window. Miss it and we could lose everything." The fleet moved carefully through the asteroid field, remaining hidden from patrols. Small decoy ships acted as distractions. Kinetic projectiles and mines were deployed to slow the Council forces. Each human ship moved with precision, avoiding direct confrontation until the right moment. Ethan's voice was calm but firm. All ships hold positions until the strike signal. Remember, we are humans. We fight together, smart and brave. This is our moment. Inside the Council's hub, officers detected unusual signals. Sensors show disturbances, one alien said. Something is interfering with our systems, another officer snapped. Locate it. Destroy it immediately. But the humans were already in position. Mirror drives and asteroid cover had kept them nearly invisible. Strike pods separated from the fleet, moving toward the hub's surface. They carried explosives and nanoweapon devices. On Earth, millions watched updates through emergency channels. People had learned to rely on Laura's guidance and reports from Ethan's fleet. Fear was mixed with hope. Humanity was finally showing the Council what they could do. The first strike hit the hub's energy shield during the precise window. Explosives detonated and a wave of energy surged through the hub. The massive shields flickered, exposing gaps. The Council officers panicked, sending ships to intercept, but the humans anticipated each move. Now, Ethan shouted, deploy the pods. Pods descended onto the hub's surface. Each pod attached explosives to power cores, weapon arrays, and control stations. Nanoweapons spread, disrupting neural systems and communications. Alien ships around the hub lost coordination instantly. Chaos erupted. In space, human ships dodged energy beams and debris. Every move was precise. Kinetic projectiles knocked ships off course. Collisions spread panic among the Council fleet. The hub, once the center of their power, was losing control. Nora Lane guided Ethan through the strike. Focus on the neural command centers, she said. Disable them and the fleet cannot respond. Ethan ordered the final strike team. Small ships descended in a coordinated attack. Explosions rocked the hub as humans hit every weak point. Energy weapons overloaded. Alien ships nearby collided with each other. The Council's fleet was in chaos. On Earth, people cheered quietly. Schools, homes, and workplaces paused to watch the events unfold. Humanity's first real victory against the Council was visible, even from a distance of thousands of kilometers. Ethan watched the hub crack under pressure. Almost there, he said. Keep going. Every strike counts. Inside the hub, the main control room erupted. Alien officers tried to maintain order, but their neural systems were failing. Commands were ignored. Ships drifted without guidance. Systems overloaded. Panic spread through the Council's forces like wildfire. The final explosives detonated. A massive shockwave tore across the hub, rupturing energy cores. Shields collapsed. The central command station exploded, sending debris in all directions. Thousands of alien ships lost coordination and collided, creating a chain reaction of destruction. Ethan watched from the Liberty Dawn as the hub fractured into pieces. Fire and debris lit the darkness of space. The Council's main fleet was shattered. Small pockets of alien ships tried to regroup, but without coordination, they were easy targets for human ships. Laura Benton and Nora Lane monitored the aftermath. They have lost control, Laura said. The fleet is collapsing. Humanity did it, Ethan breathed deeply. We did it, he whispered. For Earth, for humanity. The Council's remaining ships tried to flee, but human ships pursued them. Using clever tactics, debris, and mirror drives, the humans disabled or captured nearly all escapees. Humanity had turned the tide of battle. The once feared Galactic Council fleet was now defeated. On Earth, celebrations began quietly. People understood the danger was not fully over, but hope was stronger than fear. Humanity had survived an attack that had seemed impossible. Courage and intelligence had turned the smallest species into the galaxy's victor. Ethan's fleet regrouped near the debris field of Alaris Prime. Ships were damaged, but operational. Repairs began immediately. The humans had fought with every ounce of strategy, courage, and skill they had. They had proven that intelligence, creativity, and willpower could overcome sheer size and power. Laura watched the signals and smiled. Humanity had sent a clear message to the galaxy. They were not to be underestimated. Humans adapted, learned, and fought together. They had defeated the strongest alien fleet they had encountered. Nora Lane helped repair systems on the Liberty Dawn. She looked at Ethan. They never expected humans to fight like this. They will remember us, Ethan nodded. We have shown them that fear cannot control humans. They will think twice before attacking Earth again. On Earth, the President addressed the world. Today, humanity faced the Galactic Council. Today, we proved that courage, intelligence, and determination cannot be defeated. Our fleet and our people have shown the galaxy our true strength. We are humans. We fight, we survive, and we will continue to do so. People cheered in the streets, in homes, and in quiet corners. Humanity had faced annihilation and had survived. The anger and fear the Council had tried to instill had been transformed into strength and unity. Ethan looked out from the Liberty Dawn at the wreckage of the Council's fleet. Stars reflected off the floating debris. He thought of Earth, of Laura, of Nora, and of all the humans who had worked together. They had done the impossible. Humanity is stronger than they imagined, Ethan said quietly, and we have only begun to show them what we can do. The Council would rebuild, but they would not forget the lesson. Humans fought with creativity, courage, and unpredictability. They adapted faster than any alien species could anticipate. They had proven that being small did not mean being weak. In space, Ethan's fleet sent a final message to the Council. It was simple but clear. Humans survived, humans fought, and humans would not surrender. The galaxy was watching. Humanity's name would be remembered. Back on Earth, the skies were calm. People looked up at the stars and smiled. They knew that humanity had changed. No longer would fear of the unknown rule them. Humans had faced the greatest threat and won. Courage, intelligence, and unity had saved the species. Ethan watched the stars one last time before returning to Earth orbit. The Liberty Dawn and its fleet had succeeded, but their mission continued. Humanity had shown its strength, but vigilance was still needed. The Council might return, but humans were ready. They had learned, adapted, and survived. Laura sat at her station, exhausted but proud. "They will never underestimate humans again," she said softly. Nora Lane smiled. "We showed them. They thought fear would control us. They found courage instead." Ethan's fleet prepared to return to Earth. Debris from the Council's fleet drifted across space. Humanity had proven itself to the galaxy. They had survived, adapted, and triumphed. The fury of Earth had been unleashed, and the universe had seen it. As the fleet moved closer to home, Ethan looked at the planet below. Cities glowed in the night, people unaware of how close they had come to destruction. Humans had fought and they had won. Ethan whispered to himself, "We are humans. We fight, we survive, and nothing will stop us." The Galactic Council's brutal broadcast had intended to show fear and dominance. Instead, it had awakened something the aliens had never understood: human courage, creativity, and the refusal to be defeated, and humanity would never forget it.